So I was lucky enough to get early access to the new Parade DLC. Hey, thanks Frontier. And naturally I thought, let's try everything but making a parade. So why don't you join me on this one as we look at all the wacky and fun hacks that this new update brings. It will really get your creative thinking going. With some clever tricks, I'll show you how we can create interactive sideshows with animated entertainers. And even if you've never built a building before, you can have a main street up in minutes using the amazing included blueprints. I had such a wonderful time this week just mucking around with the new performer platforms. And while not every hack I show is that practical, they certainly brought plenty of smiles. And that said, when coupled with the Update 10 event and Vista points, there is so much to try that will be really useful in your park. And I really needed a full month to get through all my ideas. Even still, by the time the video was done, the staff had really had enough anyway, and yeah, you can see just how versatile these parades can really be. G'day, it's Teggy here, and I hope you're as excited for this pack as I am. It truly is amazing. If you've not subscribed, there's going to be a lot more creative content, tutorials and tips coming this way, so hit that sub button and let's get into how we can break this game. So the really cool thing about parades is we have this ability to place entertainers and have them move as we'd like. So if you come into the entertainment tab, you're going to find the new parade feature. It's got three main elements, which is the parade itself. So it's a tracked ride basically. And then we've got this platform, which is for performers. And this is a standing one and then a walking variation as well. So let's have a look at how it works. So I'm going to place down a parade here. And what's really cool is we can attach those little platforms to the parade float. So I'll just escape out of there, give you a look at it. And we'll go into all the detail on how the tracks work, but have a look at this. So if I come back to Entertainment tab and put this little platform down and attach it to the parade, we get our little character. And we can move him around and place him where we'd like. And the nice thing is it's not limited to anywhere particularly on the float, so you can really choose where to position this. And once it's down, you can click on it and change the character, and so you got all the variations here. And then in addition, you can change their little animation. So you've got idle, miserable, which is kind of cool, content, happy, and march. And the interesting thing about the march one is they walk on the spot. So if you combine that with your own custom sliders, like we've been creating in this channel, you can make them move as you wish. You're not just limited to the little walkway. So the other one there is this one, the walkway. And basically what that does is the little character will walk up to the end, give a little wave, turn around, and then go back and forward. So that's a different animation altogether, which is really cool. And they do it at their own timing, so very nice indeed. So if we come back into the parade and just attach the scenery, we can select those, and I'll just delete them for now. So the little hack or trick that I've discovered is if you come in and get your regular moving platform, my favorite piece in the game, as many of you would know, if we click this, and I'll just set it to deactivated, and I'll come back and grab one of these little platforms. And what you'll notice is if you place it on the ground, it says not attached to a parade. Now that's because all the, I guess, memory and logic of what performer needs to be shown is attached to the parade ride itself. I guess that's how they've stored the data in the background there. So unfortunately it's a limitation, right? You have to have a parade and you can't have it just sitting out here like this. But what I've discovered is if we move this and attach it to our little moving platform here, actually, I'll do that again. I'll give ourselves some little space as well. So I'm going to put it right up here in the air, just so we can hide this. So now what I've got, did that attach? No, it didn't. Let me try one more time. So select it, move it, attach it. Now that it's attached, I can hold shift and drag it up. So now I've got this independent piece. And if we look at it, it will still say it can't be selected because it's not attached to a parade. But if I attach the moving platform to the parade and click it, and then we just turn this parade off and on, it seems to now register it, and the parade itself starts moving down the path. And so this is kind of cool because we can actually animate our characters, right? So we can go turn it on a loop when it stops exploding, and yeah, it can turn around, so he's spinning on this platform. So there's a few ways that we can then use this to make shows. So I'm going to close the ride, and when we edit the track, there's actually a pause track option here. So I'm going to place that, and you can add a wait time of up to 60 seconds. All right. So now you've got this ability to have the parade come to a stop. And if you're clever about this, you can hide all the elements and then have a show in a stationary spot, and then they'll continue on. Now that was good, and I think we'll see a lot of people using that as an option for creating little stage shows and things without having to do a full parade loop. But what I found is if we come back in, and I'll just turn this off again. If we come back in and create another platform, let's place that down. And we just deactivate that one and turn it to static. We'll just call this our little base. Come back into the parade now and grab our little parade item. Let's put that back on slow and pause it. So now I can move this around like before. And if I attach it to this platform, which isn't part of the parade, it seems to remember its memory. So it's gone hidden, but if I come back here and turn the parade onto testing and we press play, you're going to see the float goes down the path as before, but our little entertainer is still here. And if you have a look in here, I'm editing the parade now. I can change the character and the animation, but it's completely independent of the parade. So that's really cool. So now I've got this little guy that we can do all sorts of things with using our custom sliders and everything else. So I'll go up to this level here and just deactivate that animation. You can make it rotate or oscillate or whatever you like. So now that we've got this ability to create entertainers, we can do so many cool things. So if you remember my special effects video, which had a whole bunch of cool tricks, this one was a great little scene of a Viking ship, and it was basically empty. But with the new parade feature that I just showed you, I can separate these entertainers and actually attach them to the ride. And so we've got these little guys moving up and down on the boat. And man, doesn't that bring it alive? What a cool little sideshow that you can create with a little shark guy in the water as well, which I thought was really cool. So we're playing some different animations on the different characters, and it just really brings it alive, which I just love. So how did we do that one? Well, basically showing you the method, and then coming under here, you can see I've just buried this empty parade, and it acts as the mechanism. So I can come in and see the performers here. So yeah, it works really well. Now, there's one unfortunate, I guess, little caveat here, is that sometimes when you load your park, it doesn't remember the attachments. So you got to go through the process again of returning this on and off and getting them relinked. I'm hoping that we can convince Frontier to enable that at save, so that would prevent us having to redo it all. But anyway, it's a really cool effect, and if that doesn't work in the long term, because this is a beta version after all, doesn't work in the production version, you still got that option to create your show on a 60-second pause piece and just hide your parade underneath. So lots of cool options, and if you hide this behind a curtain or closed doors and then reveal it on a dark ride or something, it'll work no problems. So as I said, if you don't know how to build a building and you want to rely on blueprints, you can really quite quickly create, a decent scene using the blueprints here. And what I've got down here is the little invisibility disappearing wizard trick. I had used the parade entertainer Vespa for the intro, but we can do it with an animatronic as well. So I've got it exposed here, and what's happening is we're using the new event point, and when they press it, it's triggering the sequence where it rotates. We fire off some confetti and explosions and smoke, and then my little invisibility device is hiding the character. And then after a little bit of time, it reverses and he comes back in. So when we bury this under the ground, you can get a pretty cool effect where you can come and have a little wizard duel, press the button, and watch him disappear, and poof, off he goes. So That's really cool, and I'm just loving these event points because there's so many things we can create for interactions for our maps. And so here's one little example that I've had time for this week. And I think as well, you can hide these vista points that are under the ground. Here's one, and you can place them all over to create these sort of gather points. So I've hidden quite a few, and I got them admiring and pointing. So it adds a little bit of dynamic sort of interest. It's not just the guys pressing the button. Otherwise they just sort of ignore it, so they can join in on the fun. But yeah, you can pretty much hide or reveal anything you like with this little setup. So if I deleted him, replaced him, or changed his animation type, yeah, you can do all sorts of things. So a really cool effect. So I'm looking forward to exploring more all the different event type actions we could do. I had my old, dinosaur T-Rex animation and all that, and I think these would be perfect for it. So this was a fun little build at the Splash Emporium. Dunk Her Highness. So your opportunity to come and press this button and drop Queen Splash in the water. And the way that it works is I'm using the same detach method from earlier, where I've got 3 Queen Splashes all hooked up in a row, and I'm using the invisibility device to swap out the animation. So you've got her walking in, she walks to the edge of the platform, and then she'll disappear, and the other one of her looking miserable will replace her, and then she'll get dunked in the water, and the whole thing closes. So once you hook it up to the parade, it looks a bit like this. So if you want to have some silly fun as well, just another little idea here. So we can grab our attached performer. I'm going to come over here to the new Raptor, the buzzard, I should say, which is included as a blueprint here, the sledgehammer. And I'm going to move our little guy and attach him right on the front here. And you can imagine, you can create a whole roller coaster full of our entertainers doing their thing. So yeah, let's have a look at the camera for the roller coaster here. Yeah, that will work. We can probably move him back a little bit, but you can go in and attach and edit the coaster now. So touching the scenery and moving this forward or down or wherever you want. Actually have them seated. But if you're creating little cinematics, I should say, you can do all sorts of kind of fun things with entertainers. So let's watch him have a little fly. Pity I can't hide that, but you could certainly do certain things, no doubt. He's having a grand old time. But yeah, so I'm pretty sure Frontier didn't imagine would be making Max Stormcloud fly on a roller coaster. But there you go, he can. And with a little bit of tweaking, I'm sure you'll have a lot of interesting ideas where you could potentially use this in the game. Okay, enough of the silliness. I'm going to get into the tutorial component now where we can actually build a little sideshow. So I want to create a little stage animation, and I'm going to press play on this pre-setup that I've done. And I've got some little spheres representing the characters. So one coming through the door, another one pops a head out through the window, and another one coming from the other side. And you can use the animations along with a parade to create this sort of side show without it being, marching down the street. So we're going to have a look at how we do that. So I've got a parade here set up, and this part of the track here in the middle is set to pause for 60 seconds, which is long enough for our little play. And yeah, the reason I'm showing it this method is because, as I said, I'm still not sure if we're going to be able to do the detach process properly. So better safe than sorry. And if we have a look here at this piece, I've got a Gulpy set up who's walking on the spot. And if we come in and do attach scenery, I can set this bottom one to loop and make it rotate at very slow. So he's going to start spinning. And what we want to do is attach again And I'm just going to move this one, something like out there. And now, when we come in to test, he's going to walk around. So you can adjust the spacing and everything else. So as you see, the trolley or the float base comes in, going to pause. And if we start the animation from behind the curtain, he can then walk out and then come around and do the full circle. So that's what we've got to do. We now need to take our templates and attach it to our parade and go from there. So let's have a look. So inside our stage, we've got our little template animation pieces. And what I'm going to do is move them so you can see them. If I edit this as a group, I can grab the lot and then attach it to my little parade float. And I'm going to just give it some vertical height to give us some space. With that done, I can take the little platform for the performer and just attach it. And I'll just turn off aligned surface so we can see what we're doing. And then this one needs to rotate, so I'm just pressing Z to flip it around and turn off the alignment again. And then for here, we need it to face forward, like so. And if we come into this mode now, I can now pick my character. So I have Gulpy here, I think. We'll have King Coaster. And I need to set them to march because they're going to be walking. And then up here, maybe we'll leave the bard. Let's see how he looks. And I think I'll remove the bard's sphere because we don't want to see that. But we can keep the other ones. That's fine. Okay, so that's going to walk into place as a parade item. And what we want it to do is as it hits this space is to trigger its own animation. So what you do is select the ride, create a trigger sequence, and we can place a new trigger. So when it gets to here, what do we want it to do? We want it to play our sequence. So let's see if this works. So I can turn it off and then press play. Perfect. So it triggers itself, gets to that point, and out come the performers. And now all we have to do is align this up with the theatre. Okay, that's aligned. So now I can take the whole thing and just bury it in the ground where we would like it. Something like so. And this parade begin the little show. Now, the caveat obviously is we need to hide with some buildings here or on the other side, so as the parade comes in, you can't see it. The alternative is to use something like my invisibility device, and you can set one of those up for each character. Now that's quite complex, I'm not going to go into it here, but you'd basically attach those characters to these guys and have them hidden until the parade had arrived in its location. But generally speaking, it does a really good job, and you can figure out that this would make very complex sideshows, so pretty cool. Okay, so I've just very quickly haphazardly thrown this parade and theatre down here, and what I've got under the path here is the new vista point. And this is what's really cool, is that these work when they're buried under the ground, and you can place them down. So this is part of update 10. You can change their reaction, and you can say where you want them to focus. So I've got all these bits of panel. I can say point there, or maybe point at the window. And for these guys, I can have them have a different reaction, so dance. And you can put as many of these down as you like and gather a real big crowd for your show. So I'm going to select all of these again and just move them down under the ground. And the people are gathering. And all we need to do now is turn on our parade. So let's see what happens. It should trigger some music, which I've set up as well off camera. And yeah, what will happen is it will come into place. And here it comes. It's exciting. Here comes Gulpy. Our little bard. And King Coaster, of course. So yeah, you get the idea, and obviously now they're dancing to the show and doing their little thing. So a stationary parade, essentially hidden under the ground, but giving us that kind of cool effect. Well, thanks again to Frontier for this early access, and I probably could have spent a couple more weeks just scratching the surface here and getting into what is possible. I want to know from you as well, what are you interested in out of this DLC? There's so much scenery and all the good things that I'm sure many of the other creators are going to cover. But for me, I didn't want to do a parade just yet. I think I want to do a really nice one, take my time. And speaking of taking my time, I've also been building my own theme park in the background here, something a little bit taggy-ish. Yeah, so stay tuned for that. Make sure you like and subscribe, and keep in touch. But thank you again, and we'll see you on the next one. Cheers, everyone. Have a good week. Bye.